Okay, when the ball's near the rail, a little right English, usually a bit of a helper pocketing this ball. Right English really not desired here to get the proper position on the purple 5, so he's got to pay attention to this one. It's tricky. And that's what I thought, especially if you're a little nervous to start.
Well, all things considered, that was a bit of a shocker of a visit from Kaçi. Ball in hand, ball sitting nicely. Great chance to assert himself right at the start of the match. And yeah, he's the younger of the two. He also had a birthday recently, but it was a landmark one as he reached the age of 30.
Yeah, and some may think what I'm talking about with changes, that's probably the wrong way to label it, Michael. It's more about reminding him what his best is and getting back to that.
Skyler Woodward wins the rack.
Well, he'll be happy with that. Kaçi was handed a great chance at the start of the rack. Made a bit of a mess of it, to be fair. And Woodward is off and running.
You know, it's amazing. If you go down the row a little bit, lesser players, that'll really affect them. But more often than not, the all-time greats, it really kind of wakes them up where they get a little bit, oh my, just as I said something. And a quick transition there, a very one that you don't see very often from Ko. That's why the ball deflected a little more with the right English and caught the ball a little thick.
I think that's about as close range a shot as we've seen him miss all year. What a chance for Woodward now, who could so easily have lost both of these opening racks, to be 2-0 up.
Yeah, there. I thought the cue ball was going to get really awkward over the 9, and I think Sky's a little nervous there too, because the last two swings a little let up there. I would bet he wanted to come more towards the middle of the table, because this 8 is no gimme. Again, no gimme here. Key to this shot, again, like I say it so much, is don't let up. Doesn't mean hit it 100 miles an hour, but just get through the ball.
Nice confident stroke, just wriggled in the end, but good work from Skyler Woodward. And the smile that says, what just happened there? Well, what has happened is this 9 going in, and Skyler Woodward getting a 2-0 lead, picking off Kaçi's early errors. A lot of the crowd have drifted away from the main table to watch the drama going on in the Kaçi match. Indeed, even most of those sitting at the main table, as we look at this break again, are just at this near end of it, so you can't see them there because they're trying to get a view of Kaçi's battle to stay in the tournament. Well, he said, chance to play a nice safety. How nice was that?
Yeah, awkward cueing. If you don't know about the rules of Nineball, if you touch any ball, it's a foul, ball in hand. So always a little stress when you're over the ball. Something we saw a few years ago in a big moment in the finals of the U.S. Open, and hated to see it, just like any of those kind of things. I've been involved in a couple of those myself, so, but it is part of it. Oh, nice hit here, and he may get some reward. No, the cue ball's gonna remain somewhat close to the 1, and this is gonna be odd though. He's fairly straight, so he's probably gonna have to play a kiss shot off his left side of the 2 to make the pink. It's not difficult, but anytime you have to play a kiss shot, you gotta gain some position on the blue 2 again. Yeah, that's the thing about the kiss shot. You want to be close to it, and the reason is so he can really hold that position on the blue 2.
Yeah, that was Wu Cha-Ching you were talking about in that US Open final in Las Vegas when he was charging back against Joshua Filler. Leaning over a ball, just brushed it slightly, and Filler got back in and saw it out.
Yeah, I think the whole world was sick for Wu, and probably Filler as well, to be fair. And Filler's such a competitor. And ironically, this week was the first time we've seen Wu back since in the match room. He wants to squeeze it up on there. This is a pretty doable jump. just a sliver of the black 8 to go over.
It's Kaçi who'd been frozen out a bit and not given any chance to get into it for the last few racks. Forced the opportunity for himself, but all the initiative could go straight back to Woodward here with, as you say, one good jump.
I was going to say that jump a hair missable because he did have to draw the cue ball to come free of the 7. And like the bank shot, you know, Federgor's the best jumper of the ball in the world, especially because he does it well under pressure also. But Skyler, when it, you know, just like the bank shots, it seems maybe he's not the best banker, but when the money's on the line, he seems to bury a lot of the banks and a lot of the jumps.
Kaçi might be getting one of those deja vu feelings here. Went out of the last matchroom event with an absolute landslide at the hands of a Mosconi Cup legend, with that 11-1 defeat to Joshua Filler in London. Well, we've seen it happening again here. 3 balls for 5-0.
Yeah, it looks like Sky Stroke's getting sweeter, and quite the opposite for Grillo. He's having troubles over there.
Yeah, Kaçi at the table with ball in hand. 7-all in that one. So all very close, but far, far from it here. Skyler Woodward, once this 9 goes down, will be halfway to victory already, before his illustrious opponent has even troubled the scorers. It is 5-0. And of course, he's already, coming into this tournament, got a lead of more than 8,000 points over Shane Van Boening at the top of the US Mosconi Cup standings. Van Boening, of course, was put out a couple of rounds ago by Woodward, and that's why he's in the audience now. So there's a chance that Woodward can build such a big lead now that he can go to Fulda almost for a coronation in terms of that first automatic spot on the team. Look, they're both going to be there at Alexandra Palace anyway, but you were saying yesterday Woodward would enjoy that, being the first there. Beating Van Boening to the punch on anything is a feather in your cap.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a little competition between the two, but believe me, Shane does not mind what he's witnessing right here at all. Whether it be giving up the #1 spot, whether he's down the road from it, it does not matter. He likes seeing this play from Skyler, and of course the World Cup on the brink of that. That doesn't hurt at all either.
Yeah, the Americans have only won it once, back in 2008, but with the pairing of Van Boening and Woodward in this form, maybe it's going to be their time again. That's all for next week. Here tonight, Skyler Woodward has got his 3rd break-and run of the match, and Kaçi is now staring at the very real prospect of being humbled by a whitewash here. Yeah, look, it's been a great run from whatever happens, and the Portuguese have impressed so much. Miguel Silva almost made it through to today. It's just edged out by Alban Ocean in a hill.
Yeah, and the things are going good. When you're playing well, you get a few little extras on the side, and I think that cue ball was going to get lost in that side if it wasn't for a few friendly kisses. We'll get a good look here. Oh no, it's going to be a little short, but still you get kissed into better position on the blue too, so it's just keep shooting offensively here.
So often you see players just kick on from there, again like FSR. If Woodward could win the title here tomorrow, is that the future you see potentially for him?
Yeah, absolutely. Now there's a bunch of customers out there that are going to try and make that very hard on him, right? A bunch of cold-blooded killers in our game, but you know, it's got to start with that. You know, just like we're seeing some players into the final 16 that we haven't really seen much of in that regard. You know, they got to play those quality matches, experience that, beat some of those big names, and then it starts to all come together. Rub the rail going in like you can the corner every now and again.
Mark Beisterbosch now 6-1 up on Duong Kwok Hwang in the quarter-final. It's so hot here, and both of those guys are wearing 2 layers, Jeremy. How are they coping with that?
Well, there's differences of opinions on that, right? There's, of course, all the stuff they have these days with the technology, even with the clothing, that they have certain types of things that can keep you cooler, actually.
Well, there are many layers of quality to this performance from Skyler Woodward. This is going to be 4 break and runs on the bounce. 5 in total in the match. He had 4 in his win earlier against Kaçi. Skyler Woodward is the man of the moment here. And in just a moment, he'll be breaking on the hill, looking for an astonishing whitewash against one of the best players in the world. It's 9-0.
3 into the rail off the back of the 6. I think you're going to see a safety, though, here. You're putting him behind the pink, maybe. Yeah.
Well, it's all very well to say that Kaçi hasn't really had the chance to do much about it in this match over the last number of racks, but you go back to early on, he had his chances the first couple of racks, and you talk about small margins in sport, but if you make your mistakes early in the match, the tournament in most sports, you have time to turn it round. In this game, you make your mistakes, and that can be that. And that mistake that he's made there may very well be Kaçi's last shot in this Spanish Open.
Yeah, but with the tough equipment and the big setting, of course, the big setting is what make the greats so great, but you don't expect this much punishment. But he did give it to Oy in a very similar manner, so.
Well, that's it. Kaçi was flying in this tournament. He got through his 3 matches in the double elimination stage for the loss of a total of just 4 racks. His closest contest actually came from Francisco Jose Diaz Pizarro in the last 64. That was 10-7. But then 10-3 against the vastly experienced Imran Majid. And he won 9 racks in a row at one stage against Naoki Oy just a few hours ago.
Yeah, well, the kind of respect is it takes this kind of performance to sit Ko down, right? He wants to get nice and heavy. No reason to really have to move the cue ball much. I like that there, taking that little time. And that's him changing a little bit. You know, in America, we know about that strut that Skyler gets when he starts to finish people off. And I like him avoiding that strut and still working through the rack. It's going to serve him well.
Kaçi can now turn his thoughts to a few days from now when the World Cup starts and he'll be playing with his brother. But you know, there was another Sky Sports commentator many years ago who famously said, "I swear you'll never see anything like this ever again." And it may well be that we never again see Kaçi get a hammering like this. I can't believe I'm going to say these words. Skyler Woodward has beaten Kaçi, winner of the World Masters only last month, by 10 racks to 0. Skyler Woodward marches on. He will carry the Stars and Stripes into the final day in Lugo.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who you are, how much pool you've played. If you knock these in, that just settles you right down. There you see, put a quick one in. He's going to leave it on. Dang Junhui, very, very tidy cue, Phil.
He is. I'm surprised about that. That's the kind of shot that's meat and drink for Eklent Kaçi. In the last 32 yesterday by Yanni Uski. Playing with lots of side the last 3 shots. He's applied it appropriately and ideally. Check side there.
Yeah, Wu Ching and Wang Kan. They're playing in the World Cup of Pool next week together. This man couldn't even make the team, Phil.
And yet he might upstage them in this tournament.
Dang Junhui wins the rack.
That was a pretty clean rack, wasn't it? Eklent Kaçi missed the 2-ball from distance. Dang did the rest.
That's a good shot there from Eklent. Just trying to steady the ship, isn't he? We know how these matches can sometimes turn into a one-way match where we've seen Skyler Woodward. Who'd have thought Ko Ping-yi wouldn't win a rack, but just shows you. Ko Ping-yi missed a couple of balls in the opening 2 racks. The game can punish you. Yeah, I'm sure about 30-40 minutes ago, Fedor Gorst and Piers Boutis was probably picking the cues up, Phil, when they seen Mark at the table, thinking, oh, we're up next. They've had to carry on hitting balls and wait patiently. And this looks like Kaçi's going to finally win a rack.
Eklent Kaçi wins the rack.
What a pot that is, by the way. Oh, the cue ball couldn't have landed any worse.
That is jinxed. That deserved so much more. And jacking up, that's the kind of thing that can happen. Kaçi, one has to say, not having the best of runs so far in the match. Still early stages, but the ball's conspiring against him.
Nice bank shot there. I think he can just play this naturally. Oh, he's jacking up slightly. Yeah, good shot again. So he's going to steal the rack.
It's only a matter of time before Gorst wins one of these major open ranking events, and maybe this is the time. Now then, finally, it's not easy, but at least Kaçi has a clear look at the 3.
Yeah, queuing off the rail. Gotta stay still. Missed it. Missed the 2-ball in the opening rack. And he's missed another one here.
It's a similar ethos to snooker. When you've been involved in a lengthy tactical battle and you're left with a tough pot, you're out of rhythm in terms of offensive pool. Gorst's mistake was punished in rack 3. Piers Labutis leads 2-1 over on table 1. This is not the Eklent Kaçi we've become accustomed to over the last few months.
No, it's fair to say the players are struggling. Skyler Woodward wasn't struggling. He put an absolute masterclass on. 10-0 over Kaçi.
Deng Junhui wins
This
the
is a
rack.
shock to everyone's system. Most obviously to Eklent Kaçi himself. He's been so good of late. In this match he hasn't been. And he trails 6-1.
Camera angle tells you. Most of the people are sort of sat behind where the cameramen are, because what that allows them to do is see the other two tables in action as well.
Well, that break wasn't ineffective, was it? The 1 in and an open shot on the 2. With a 3, 4 and 5. You name it, they're all open.
Didn't want the 9 to go there because he could pot the 3, but this is not very difficult. Big favourite to make the combo.
Deng Junhui wins the
But
rack.
this is getting very worrying, very serious for Eklent Kaçi. How about this? He trails 7-1. The Kaçi mistakes, the missed judged bank in rack 6, the missed 6 ball in rack 7. And who would have thought it so quickly, so decisively? Dang, 2 balls away from mounting the hill. Short of position though when he had a wide margin of error. That was slack.
Extension called.
Yep, he's left himself a tester. And he's overdone it. That was a very, very simple rack to go 9-1 up. And you just wouldn't lose the match from there. Not the way the match has gone. Is there a little bit of hope for Eklent Kaçi? It's now 8-2.
Eklent Kaçi wins the rack.
Not many players can come back from this kind of deficit, but I think Kaçi could if he gets on that kind of hot streak. Fedor Gorst back on level terms against Piers Labutis. Labutis led 3-1. Now it's 3 apiece.
It's okay. Cue balls just snuck out enough. Anywhere on the left side of the table. Would like a little bit of an angle. Okay, so he's not got the angle. He'll probably play the cue ball here in a position where... Oh, he got a lot out of that, to be fair.
Couldn't really fail in the position of 8-9 on that occasion.
very tight.
And that, I think, symptomatic. It sums up the match in general. Things have always been awkward for Kaçi. He's had no sustained rhythm. Tell you what, Dang, he's an attractive player to watch. He doesn't hang about, does he?
No, he's a very good cueist, Phil. Pure natural ability, just gets down, cues the ball, pulls the trigger. Was always a fan of watching his game back in the day.
Dang, so close now. I don't think Dang beating Kaçi would be a seismic upset, but I think the scoreline is. All good things come to an end.
Dang Junhui wins
Kaçi won the UK Open. We thought he might win the Spanish Open, but Dang had other ideas. The man from the People's Republic of China into the semi-finals with a 10-2 victory. Comprehensive, and he now plays Skyler Woodward of the USA.